Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews. It's Gaming Friday. I'm Gary.
And I'm Geoff.
And today we are taking a look at a classic. We're taking a look at Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh, yes, Gary. What a classic indeed. I love Left 4 Dead 2, Gary. I love Ellis. Kill all sons of bitches. That's my official instructions.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, Left 4 Dead 2 for me is one of the greatest zombie games, period. Because it incorporates everything that's great about zombies.
Yeah.
You get your teammates, you get your friends, and you go and blast hundreds of thousands of infected zombies. Now, before we get into it, are they zombies? Or are they infected? Or are they special infected? Or is it a combination of everything?
Well, yeah.
So
infected, I guess. They're infected plus special infected.
Yes, because, well, it turns out I think that our survivors are immune to the zombie bite anyway, which is why they don't get infected when they, get nibbled on.
Yeah.
And now, there was a bit of controversy when this game came out. It came back out in 2009 on Xbox 360 and PC.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever went to the PlayStation.
Right.
But this was obviously a Valve game. I think the original, though, was also made by Turtle Rock Studios. They made the first game in 2008.
Yeah.
Now, there was some controversy when this game came out, simply due to the fact that it came out just a year later.
Right.
And so everyone was like, holy shit, how did you go from scratch to finish in a year and release this game?
Yeah.
And it's,
They had most of the assets done in the first one, didn't they? A lot of the assets and a lot of the sort of the structure was built, because it was all in Source, wasn't it? It was all
in the
done
Source engine, absolutely, yeah. So they didn't change the game engine at all.
Yeah.
All they did was change the 4 characters, change the environment, and add a couple more special infected.
Yeah.
And tweaked a couple of the gameplay mechanics enough, I know, to upset a few players that were not too happy with the melee system changeover in this game. Where I think in the first game, you could repeatedly melee attack.
Yeah.
Whereas in the second one, they added this sort of stamina, so that if you swung for the 4th time, I think you got to take a break before you swing again, which leaves you vulnerable, so that you can't just form this shell cluster of 2 people behind and 2 people up front meleeing everything away, while everyone at the back shot everybody.
That was the pushback maneuver, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Because you had melee weapons which you could swing endlessly, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it was the pushback which would force everything back to give you space. Which we did, because you could have 2 guys just constantly hitting the left trigger, pushing everything back whilst the others were shooting them, and that was pretty much like God mode, wasn't it? As long as you held your line. Yeah. Hold the line.
Okay, well I've just jumped into a random game here.
Yeah.
I have no idea now.
You're playing.
I have no idea what difficulty they're playing it on.
And you're playing with Satan as well.
Well, that's fine. It's got the number of the beast there, so I have no idea how they are. Okay, I don't.
Your daily sponsored message.
Yeah. Okay, so
thanks.
We'll just quickly get rid of that and.
Got no controls.
I have no control support, so over to you, Geoff. You play.
I'll play.
I'll put the controller back down. God damn it.
Here we go. I got keyboard and mouse right here.
Yeah, well, it's fine because I'm a controller type of guy anyway, Geoff, and I'd much rather play the game on the console without any of the mods.
I don't even know what I'm doing, so there we go.
Now, this game, I gotta say, there is a fundamental difference between the PC version and the console version, and it's that the PC version has an endless array of beautiful, brilliant mods.
It does. It really does. The mods are... Well, what were we just having a little browse through them, weren't we, Gary, just moments ago?
There is, like, if you're a fan of any other medium or any other platform, it's been modded in Left 4 Dead 2. So I was like, what would be the perfect Left 4 Dead 2 mod for me? Aliens. Xenomorphs. And lo and behold, some genius has already made the mod, so you can turn all of the zombies into xenomorphs.
Turns out, Gary, you don't need aliens, colonial marines. You just need Left 4 Dead 2 and a PC.
Yeah, and a PC that's capable of running it. Yeah. Yes. Thank you for that one. And so so there's a ton of mods for the game. You can mod the special infected, the zombies, the music, the weapon skins, the character skins, the voice packs, the music, the levels, the environments. You can change anything you want to.
Yeah.
Which I just think is brilliant, and that to me just means that the longevity of this game is. The staying power is final. I mean, it's what 7 years later, and the game's still being played.
Yeah,
and you
look how quickly we got into a game. You just went
quick
game.
match.
Oh yeah, you're in.
Yeah, I do find the same when I'm playing on the Xbox as well. There are still people playing this game.
Yeah.
Granted, what I found though is that when you're playing the campaign, you'll often find it is drop in, drop out, thankfully, which is nice. But when you're playing like the versus modes online, some players will literally destroy your team in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then as the special infected, you're trying to track them down, and they are gone. They are hightailing it through the map. They know it inside out. They know where the random weapons might spawn, and they're done.
Frustratingly good, yeah.
Especially when you're working together as a team. And now there's one thing that's come up right now on the screen. Don't shoot teammates.
Yeah.
Now, I am a veteran Left 4 Dead 2, Left 4 Dead 1 player.
Yeah.
I've completed both games, every single chapter,
Yeah.
every single level on expert difficulty level.
Yeah.
And that truly tests your mettle, your patience, and your skill, and your friendships.
It's all about that team play.
Because if you want to complete a chapter, I mean, there's like most games start with about 5 chapters.
Yeah.
And each chapter, there's like 5 levels, and each level has about 5 chapters.
Yeah.
And each one of those is broken up by checkpoints. And often or not, just to complete one set of 5, like a whole mission beginning to extraction, can take anywhere between an hour to 6 hours.
Yeah.
Just to do 1/5 of the game.
Depending on how well it goes.
Just on how well it goes, and you might get all the way to the end, and the killer thing is, like, one asshole might decide to get on that extraction helicopter and fly off, which does end the game session, leaving everyone else dead, as in the title, which means they also don't get the reward for successfully completing that mission, despite spending 5 and how many hours to get that one person that far.
It's doing it on
Life's
the
a bitch.
extreme
It's
level
doing it on
when
extreme
you're
difficulty.
Just cursing people.
But I found, I mean, if you're a solid first-person shooter player, playing it on the easier difficulties just kind of takes the terror out of it. It takes the action away, because it is just it's just easy. And so, but what it also does fundamentally come down to is how good your teammates are at shooting the enemies and not your teammates. Because as I was saying, with the harder difficulty, a single stray bullet will do up to 60 damage. 2 to 3 stray bullets and your teammate is down on the ground. That's a whole health pack wasted. And so that really does matter. And when you also need pinpoint accuracy on your aiming, when you know where the special infected are, when you need to rescue your teammates, you need to have spatial awareness and always know that such and such teammate, when he's shouting out, is usually on my right hand side, to therefore know where the enemies are coming from. And so I love that kind of difficulty level with that kind of teamwork.
They go they like double down on the difficulty as well with realism mode.
Absolutely, which takes away
you can't even see people through walls and stuff like that anymore. There's none of that outlining. So that means if you're in a place where it's difficult to see, visibility is low, then you really gotta stay right next to each other, because otherwise you lose each other. And if you lose each other,
you are dead. It is one of those that the human team is at its absolute peak when the 4 of you are together. But as soon as one person goes wandering off, or is like, I'm just going to check back here for something, you've been separated, it's easy for anyone special infected to render you out of that game.
Out of sight for a second, and that's enough to kill you.
Thankfully, there are, if you do get killed off before the other humans get to the exit, they can rescue you, or they can find other survivors, which somehow is the same character. But, that's one gripe I do have with the game, is that there's no customization initially, other than mods, with the 4 characters. I would have really liked to have created my own character and given him a personality. Now, as with Left 4 Dead 1 and with this one, the 4 characters are extremely identifiable because they are quite well written.
Yeah.
And you don't actually learn all the nuances of each of the characters through a single playthrough of a single environment, because depending on which characters are with each other, or depending on which characters might have not made it this far, their conversations will change, depending on how many of them are there in that situation.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Oh,
And
no.
that's something that I would say would play into the replayability of it, is actually learning more about these characters, and their funny dialogue.
Yeah, I love Ellis's dialogue. I always play Ellis if I can, just because I love the shit he says. It's brilliant.
See, I used to always play as, I think it's Nick, but eventually I just started playing as Coach because I just found his dialogue to be more amusing.
Yeah.
Now, I can say, some people also were put off by this game because they didn't like any of the characters. And that is a big thing, that if you don't like any of the characters, you're probably not going to like the game too much either.
Yeah.
It's one of those factors where... And it just does seem like an odd bunch of characters that are in this game, compared to the more... I actually enjoyed all the characters in the first game a little bit more, even maybe though they were a little bit more stereotypical than this one. I don't know, it really is a case of your preference, but...
I gotta say, I liked characters from both of them. I think they're written really well, and they're really witty.
I did like that there was a mission in the second game or the first game where you cross over and you meet the characters from the other game.
Yes.
And it's also where one of the main characters out of the 8 actually dies.
Yeah.
Which is, which is pretty huge. It's like it's showing that the evolution of this world is continuing in its story form, despite the fact that there is no real story other than trying to get to the next extraction point.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that each level is broken down and it feels like a grindhouse movie. Where it says it's starring these characters. So each one feels like a zombie survival movie, grindhouse style. I do like that flavour to it. I also do kind of like some of the humour that's in the game, like rescuing Noam Chomsky and going through the amusement park and running around a goddamn roller coaster ride, being chased by zombies and special infected.
Yeah. What more could you want?
It's exactly. This game is very fun, and so there are a lot of different zombie variety types. Of course, one of the biggest issues is obviously all the zombies run and sprint. None of them just sort of dawdle around.
Yeah.
Much to, so why we call them infected, not zombies. But you do get zombies that are also just sort of standing around, not doing anything. Like lurker zombies.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the special infected. Now, I think the new special infected in this game is the jockey. Is the newest one, which makes a really weird sort of cackling noise as it leaps onto your head, grabs hold of you, and then drags you into the zombie horde.
Yeah.
Where it relies on other infected and monsters to finish you off, but it drags you away. You sort of wrestle control.
Yeah. It tries to drag you into the shit, which is usually something like Spitagoo, and Spitter was also one of the new ones on this one.
That's it. You can sort of combo up the special infected, and when you're playing versus, obviously if somebody is a spitter, like I think we just saw one go running past, maybe
we had a jockey just a moment.
A jockey just a minute ago. The spitter obviously will spit acid on the floor, which will do damage over time to everybody standing in it.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're a jockey, you want to drag them into the goo. If you're a hunter, you want to pin them down in the goo.
Yeah.
I do like the hunters. I love the sort of wearing hoodies, and they just have the power to leap really long distances and pin you down and then just pull you to pieces.
Yeah, they're awesome.
As well as the big brutish charges, which will run in a straight line pretty much, grab hold of anything and knock everybody over like bowling pins before pummeling whoever they've picked up to the ground.
Yeah.
And then of course there's the tank special infected, which is what you saw earlier, just a great big hulking monstrosity.
Yeah. Oh shit. Here we go. And you get these moments like this, these gauntlet pieces where you got, it's like you hear the music and you got to get to a certain place with the horde to like switch the alarm off or something like that, and the hordes just keep
It's
coming.
been an
until you
endless
can get
wave
to
of
that,
zombies until you turn off whatever's making that noise.
turn off that alarm.
Whether it's a car alarm or an actual environmental alarm.
Yeah.
And it does make for some real hell hell-raising sort of moments as you go running through the gauntlet. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be at the back.
You're also
of
trying to
these.
make sure your teammates are together. I mean, but then sometimes you're like, every man for himself, fuck it. I'll see you at the checkpoint.
Yeah, just whatever it takes to get to that line. As long as one of you is alive, you can pick the rest of them up or get them back on the...
So there are also a number of useless items that you can pick up along the way. There are pills here, pills here, which will restore some of your health, but only sort of, I think it's only a temporary amount of it.
Yeah.
Until you take the hits. So I think if you take pills, your health slowly goes back down to wherever it was before you took them. Obviously, health packs will give you like 60 to 80% of your health in full.
Yeah.
There's also adrenaline, like you took earlier, which will massive speed increase and will also enable you to pick up fallen teammates or interact or do things at a quicker pace as well.
Yeah. Oops.
There's also a variety of throwing grenades. So we have the typical Molotov cocktail, which is great for tanks.
Yeah.
It sets everything on fire and obviously does damage over time as well.
Yeah.
There's pipe bombs, which are also incredibly useful for large onslaughts of zombies.
Yeah.
When the horde is coming, just throw a pipe bomb. It makes a noise. All the zombies run after it. Nice explosion. There's also boomer bile, which is a new weapon, which is boomer bile collected. Which, of course, if you get hit with boomer bile, you attract the zombies.
Yeah.
So with the boomer bile, you can throw it away, and of course the zombies will leave you alone. Or if you do throw it in the tank, all the zombies will go and attack said tank instead. So, and then of course, there are the boomer special infected, which will hit you with range with boomer bile, or unfortunately, if you're too close to it, you'll also be hit with boomer bile. So again, you're hoping, if it's right in front of you, you're hoping that your teammates won't kill it before you get a chance to melee it away from you.
Yeah. Yes, each of the special effects have been cleverly designed.
Yes, just like the smoker, who will try and pull you away from your teammates or pull you back unsuspectingly.
They've all been designed to force you to work as a team.
And force you to change your strategy depending on the different special infected.
Yeah, exactly. That is the big thing.
My pro tip, really, for anyone playing on the harder difficulty levels is as soon as you get into the next area, as soon as your zombies are running everywhere, stay still, crouch if you're at the front, and don't move.
Yeah.
Because it's easy for somebody to shoot to the left and right of you if you're stationary and easily protect you. But if you're strafing left, right, you will get caught on the crossfire.
You're in trouble.
You are in serious trouble. So for me, that's the best tip I found given to people is when the infected are in your face, just stand still, stop panicking, let your teammates assist you. You know, so just each cover a 45-degree angle of cover, and you will careen through the game.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that
shit.
I will admit there are a few sort of tricks up our sleeves that we used to employ in this game, and they were called Jesus spots.
Jesus spots.
But unfortunately, Jesus spots have been removed from the game, and they've also, I think, been removed from Left 4 Dead 1. I mean, I think there are some people that are still maybe finding new Jesus spots.
Yeah.
But there were certain crates that you could stand upon, or certain locations which just meant no infected would spawn, no special infected would spawn, and then your extraction helicopter would turn up. Easy extraction.
Yeah.
So some people did get those achievements early on without really earning them. I will say I've done every single level, and because the very last level that I needed to do had a Jesus spot, and when I got to it finally, that Jesus spot was fixed. So I still had to do it legitimately. So I have that claim still.
So you have still done all of them.
I have done them all. I've done all of them legitimately on expert with no cheats. Well, actually, no cheats per se, but an exploit. Now you have to decide whether that's a cheat or not. And
that's a cheese, yeah.
Well, I don't know whether they ever fixed this, but it was something that we used to do.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I mean, even if you do use this exploit, it does not guarantee you're going to get to the extraction at the end. So, but what the trick was that you had to make sure. I mean, like on the first stage, it won't work, but from stage 2 to the end, what you would need to do is make sure somebody had a boomer bile on their inventory when they started the next area.
Yeah.
Now, what you would do is you would send somebody outside to spawn the zombies.
Yeah.
Then the person inside would throw the boomer bile at the inside door.
Yeah.
So all the zombies in the immediate area would go running to the front of that door.
Yeah.
the other player that's out there would then make the run all the way to the end without having to fight anything, because all the things that have spawned are still at the front door trying to get the survivors, and so the game still thinks everyone's still in the safe house.
Okay.
Yet alone, you're sneaking all the way through the map with nothing spawning.
Say what?
So, Boomervile glitch, and that was, but like I said, you can't use it on the first stage, and it doesn't help you on the last stage because you have to do the extraction as normal.
Yeah.
So, you know, it will help you get through some of the middle stages.
Yeah.
But it's not a guarantee, or it wasn't a guarantee that would always work. You might get halfway through the level and then all of a sudden everything spawns.
The hardest part is the end part. So
the hardest part is always the end part, and so you always had to do those legitimately anyway, other than said Jesus spots.
Unless you had a Jesus spot.
Yes. Of course, the weapons in the game. You have your pistol as a main normal weapon, and then a melee weapon.
Yeah.
Of course, you'll eventually get your AKs, your submachine guns, shotguns, and improved shotguns.
Yeah, because they had, right, in the first one they had just one of each type, didn't they? They had like an assault rifle, a sniper rifle, and a shotgun.
Yeah.
Whereas on this one you had a little bit of variation between the assault rifles, a couple of different shotguns, and 2 different sniper rifles. So you got a slightly, I mean, they're materially very similar in the terms of the way they play, but they are just that little bit extra different.
Yeah.
Like one's a 3-round burst.
And as a last sort of piece upgrade, you can get laser scopes for your weapon. And of course, if you do swap out that weapon, you also lose the laser scope. But
like incendiary rounds.
There is also incendiary rounds and explosive rounds, which are very good against tanks. And again, be very careful with friendly fire when using said explosive rounds, and they are limited as well. And what's interesting is the amount of melee weapons in the game. There's quite a lot, from frying pan all the way up to machete and samurai swords.
Yeah.
So, and
yeah, they're all the same. That's what's really funny. They all
do
one
the same.
Kill everything. But
yes, but it's
just for fun.
It's just for fun, grabbing an electric guitar and listening to the electric riffs as you pummel zombies. It's preference.
But yeah, I mean, altogether, it's just the format of this thing that's just so well done.
That's what keeps it so endearing and so great to replay. Is just how easily it is to pick up and play, from the easier difficulties to mastering the professional end game sort of difficulty, as well as then moving on to the online. What I think Valve did do really well though was they had this sort of weekly or bi-weekly mutons effect, where for a limited amount of time they were like, everybody gets chain guns with infinite ammo, off you go.
Yeah.
And it's and so they've had
play the levels in unique ways.
And so I like the fact that the community's been built up, and they've listened to player feedback, and they've listened to what people wanted, and kept making changes and refining the game as it's gone on, and also importing some of that over to the console version as well, obviously minus all of the mods, which is it's still a shame. But rumor has it, has been for for years and years, but as it would appear that Valve cannot count past 2. Portal 2, Tumbleweed.
Yeah.
Half-Life 2, Tumbleweed. And here we go, Left 4 Dead 2, and fucking Tumbleweed.
Well, it depends how closely you're following it. It's not entirely Tumbleweed. They've done quite a few things now, Valve have, to tease that they are working on 3.
But they've been doing that for Half-Life for how long?
Half-Life they haven't done quite so much direct teasing.
But they've had elements to it were in the Portal game, weren't they? There was you got ideas of Black Mesa and the fact that Portal existed within the Half-Life universe.
Yeah, they set Half-Life up for a 3rd, for sure.
Of course, it was a huge cliffhanger ending.
Yeah. But I genuinely think that Half-Life 3... I know Left 4 Dead 3 is coming out. That will be the next one that comes out.
I've been waiting. It deserves to come to the next generation consoles. It needs to have Windows 10, Xbox cross-play compatibility.
Yeah.
PlayStation owners definitely need to at least get their first chance at playing a Left 4 Dead game as well.
I think that there's a very good chance that what will happen next is Left 4 Dead 3, which will come out as moddable for the Xbox as well.
Well, I should think so. I mean, modern day consoles now are getting, or about to see a lot more moddable content,
Yeah.
which is great. That is great, because that will just increase the lifespan of so many games. Just like me wanting to put xenomorphs in my zombie games.
Yeah, I reckon that's on the
But
cards.
the gameplay for this works because it's exactly what it was in the first game. So going forward, what could you change and what would you do different? The only thing I could imagine doing is having more characters, customizable characters, and going to a completely different location.
Yes.
Now the first game for me was a lot more city-based, whereas this one had a lot more diverse areas, from swamp areas to airports.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, just more varied activity. What I would really like to see, and this is always something I want to go into, is see more things happening in the environment around you. Other survivors running around, sort of things that you might miss, or just, I don't know. I'm like, I want more story, but at the same time I like the way that it's delivered, because you don't want cutscenes in the middle of playing, this fast-paced action shooter. So how do you balance it?
Yeah, I see. I think they could go a long way with this. Yeah, the potential is huge. Yeah, like you say, you can have other people, like survivors, you've got to try and pull out. There's still loads of potential for loads of extra weapons. There was a grenade launcher in here, but there's not really anything much in the way of, like a varied
It has such a
arsenal.
blast damage that it's suicidal to use it near teammates, and suicidal to use it when you're surrounded, because you'll just blow yourself up. It's one of those last-ditch, take everybody with you explosions.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good fun.
But I've loved Left 4 Dead. Absolutely adore Left 4 Dead 2. Cannot wait for a Left 4 Dead 3. It absolutely needs to happen.
Yeah.
Keep up with the great music. The music in both the Left 4 Dead games is instantly memorable and iconic, and even like the made-up band that they made, like the Midnight Riders.
Yeah.
The music that they recorded is just brilliant. It all just works perfectly. I love the humor that's in the game. I don't think they should break that at all. I love the enemy variety. I can only imagine that. What I would like is to see more different designs of the special infected, where every smoker looks the same, every boomer looks the same.
Yeah.
I want to see more variety, and more variety in the zombies.
Well, they did have a male and female boomers in the end.
Okay, well, yeah, in the end, yes, they did.
For two.
Yes.
There was only one for. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like they did more variety when they did between 2 and 1, and just opened it up a little bit. So I guess they can continue to do that for 3.
Yes, and of course, increase the gore count. Increase entrails and body parts and limbs flying everywhere. And
Yes,
of course,
please.
leave the body parts all over the floor. And just amazing. I want to get to a section in the game where you have to make a last defense, and you get swarmed by like 200 zombies, and by the time it's done, the zombies are climbing up over the bodies of other infected to get to you. That's what I want to see in my next Left 4 Dead game.
That's a good point. All the bodies just disappear quite quickly.
After time, yeah.
So yeah. I mean, it's Source. This is, like you say, Source 1 engine. So this is very dated really now. 2009 this came out. And it was what Source has been going around for quite a few years before that.
Yeah.
So Source 2 looks pretty sexy. Looks like it's got a lot of potential.
Can you imagine this game in VR as well?
And yeah, that's the other thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh my god.
VR would be. You'd probably be sick, to be honest.
I probably would be sick, especially if you keep turning around that quickly as well. I feel like my head's spinning around on the spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got to turn around quick though.
Yeah.
They even had a 3-turn 180 button. Didn't
They
they
did,
on the
yes.
360?
Yep. Which was essential for being able to turn around quick enough.
Yeah.
And covering those corners, of course.
Yeah.
God damn it, I highly recommend Left 4 Dead 2. Even the first one, whichever one you get. Of course, you need an Xbox or a PC. I know that on PC the game is uber cheap to buy on Steam. It's been on sale multiple times. I know for a fact that Steam even gave the game away at some point for nothing.
Yeah,
So,
Christmas present. to everybody.
it's definitely worth going and having a look at. It's definitely worth getting into. If you've got 3 other friends, you are set for hundreds of hours of quality time.
Absolutely.
So-
Hundreds plus.
This
maybe
game-
thousands.
you know,
if
and-
you really love it.
Because that's why this game rises to the top of all of the other zombie games out there, because it has that much fun and potential fun for a group of players.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you haven't played it, go and check it out.
It's not just one of the best zombie games, it's one of the best first-person shooter co-op games. Like, it's a great co-op game, it's a great first-person shooter, it's just got everything. The only thing, I suppose, is aiming down sights.
It's not
Call
really
of Duty style
necessary,
aiming
is
down
it?
sights, but it's not necessary, no.
No.
So I really don't. I don't know how they could improve this too much because the format was so good. Anything that moves away too much from the sweet note they managed to capture with this,
Yep.
they risk
If
it
it ain't,
not being as good.
if it ain't
but
broke, don't fix it.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. More even if they just gave me more of the same with a few more like skins
Yeah.
for weapons,
A few
then
more
I'd be
characters,
happy.
game modes, monsters, sounds. Yep, just more of the same, please.
Yeah, a few more wisecracks.
Yep.
I'll be happy for sure.
For
I
sure.
love this game. I absolutely 100% recommend it to anybody, no matter if you just like gaming at all. This is a must-buy.
Definitely.
It's
It
brilliant.
has the replayability to go with it as well.
Yep.
Well, that's it from us here on Off the Shelf Reviews this Gaming Friday. We'll be back next Friday with another video game. Of course, film reviews on Thursdays. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Patreon. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Take it easy.